Thank you very much for the introduction. I want to tell you that I can't keep from changing the talk, and so therefore, those of you who have the disc, CD disc, this is a little different. But if you want a copy of it, let me have your card and I'll send it to you by email. I want you to all know that I've been very impressed by this meeting. I'm looking at a group of people who have a great deal of knowledge, and I'm honored to be here. Engine oil is often thought of as that important fluid permitting the engine to operate. Too often that is the limit of an individual's knowledge. Understanding the way in which engine oil accomplishes its purposes varies from those who know very little to those who, through experience, know quite a bit. However, no one knows all about engine oil and its effects, as you've heard here. And those that know much are usually also very aware of how much they don't know. The importance attached to engine oil properties and functionality seems to vary broadly among the nations of the world, usually and understandably in relationship to their familiarity with the automobile. Moreover, as formulation of engine oil changes with engine design, as well as the availability of base oils and additives, past levels of knowledge must almost always be updated, as at this meeting. Unfortunately, too often we are subject to our assumptions based on our past experience, and often without questioning its validity in the present. Clearly, performance of an engine oil is the measure of its quality under the conditions of its use, and conditions vary widely around the world. Further, the quality of an engine oil is defined by a set of properties that permit it to meet the engine's needs. And these needs include not only lubrication, but among several others, as you've heard, control of oil oxidation and oil-induced deposits on the piston, in the turbocharger, and the sludge and varnish that oxidation induces. Control of foaming and aeration in engine hydraulic functions. Neutralization of combustion acids blown into the crankcase, and elimination of exhaust catalyst damage from volatilized additives. Over the years of engine oil usage, desirable properties of engine oil have first been identified by performance of engines in the field. Using this field experience, engine dynamometer tests were developed to obtain greater repeatability of the operating conditions affected by these properties of the engine oil. Of course, it was understood that dynamometer tests were much more repeatable, but imperfect simulations of field experiences. Lastly, as both field and dynamometer tests reveal more about the basic nature of engine oil properties, laboratory bench tests have been used more and more frequently for defining and measuring engine oil quality. Thus, from both engine dynamometer and bench tests have come the creation of modern engine oil specifications of quality. And again, it is important to note that both dynamometer and bench tests are based on interpretation of engine operation in the field, which doesn't include all the possible consequences of driving patterns or nature's more subtle or surprising responses. Today, there are a number of bench tests that have been shown to provide reasonably clear and correct view of engine oil quality. Moreover, most of these bench tests have been developed based on good correlation with either or both field and dynamometer performance. The need for a clear understanding of properties of engine oils on the marketplace and growing need for confidence in engine oil quality led to the initiation of the Institute of Materials Engine Oil Database in 1984. In 1984, the Institute of Materials was established with the purpose of objectively providing information on the quality of engine oils on the market by collecting hundreds of engine oils directly from the market each year, having these oils analyzed in a set of bench tests particularly related to engine oil quality, and publishing all of this data, plus pictures of the container and information on the country and specific location where the engine oil was collected. This yearly collection of engine oils has continued for 26 years, with an increasing number of oils collected, countries and areas in which the oils were collected. For example, the SAE engine oil viscosity classification system that you heard about earlier is used worldwide to denote the viscometric properties of engine oils available. The following comparison shows the wide diversity in choice of even such basic and important property as viscosity. The following comparison shows the wide diversity, as I mentioned. And please note that in the following slides, it is necessary that any publication of data using copyrighted IOM data, which I've done, indicate that IOM is the source of the particular data to avoid confusion of its data with other sources. As shown, each region that you see here, I've plotted the percentage of the oils collected in given areas. I've used the three regions of North America, Asia Pacific, and Europe. And if you look across the line of grades and regions, you'll see how much diversity there is in the way engine oils are selected in the various countries, and regions rather, and the type of oils that are chosen. As would be expected from long experience with the automobile, both North American and European regions have established criteria of quality. Perhaps best known as the API's S category for passenger car gasoline engines, originally developed jointly with the ASTM and the SAE. And I think Kevin will refer more to this later. More recent specifications were developed by the North American and Japanese engine manufacturers, as you heard, ILSAC, jointly with engine oil sources. As of 2010, API's S category is at the level of SN, much of which category was brought into correspondence with ILSAC classification GF5, which you've already heard. Similarly, Europe has developed standards under the guidance of ASEA. Standards that are specific for a region or a country have the advantage of more precisely fitting the qualities needed for that environmental engine operation. However, in this day of international trade and export, it is well recognized that universal standards of quality are more desirable. When engine oil quality designations are used in a region, there are two basic questions. One, does the oil container carry the quality designation on its surface? And if so, does the oil actually meet the quality criteria indicated? Understandably, the opportunity to provide engine oils to a rapidly growing market is commercially attractive, but supplying the needed quality levels is often a challenge for newer blenders, and even for those sources more experienced, depending on supply, oil, and additives. While data obtained from each of the bench tests from the Institute of Materials are significant to engine oil quality anywhere in the world, not all are relevant in every region. Some are critical to quality everywhere. So we chose oxidation resistance for this presentation as universally important as a property to compare the quality of the world's oils. 3 oxidation bench tests were used. One that has been long been a general performance test at 160 degrees Celsius. A second, more severe and recent test of piston deposit forming tendencies at 285 degrees Celsius. And a third, very severe test of engine oil lubricated turbocharger deposits at cyclic temperatures from 200 to 480 degrees Celsius. You heard this referred to as the TIOS-33C. The mild bench test, which is still relevant but not required, requires a maximum deposit of 35 milligrams. You can see again the comparison of poor, moderately good, and good to excellent resistance. And again, you see this variation among the locations in which the oil was picked up. In this case, North America and Japan are quite similar. 5 requires an oil to have a maximum deposit level of 30 milligrams. And on that same basis of comparison, it's rather interesting to find that most countries have oils that look fairly good. This is in contrast to what you saw just a few moments ago on the other 2 slides. So why? Well, one would expect that at such higher temperatures, oxidation problems and deposit would be more severe. This raised the interesting consideration that deposit formation is not just a matter of temperature degradation. Other factors likely involving formulation were possible. In support, studies of the coke removed from turbochargers showed that formation of the coke deposits was initiated by some additives on the hot inner surfaces of the turbocharger, while similar additives did not respond. In fact, in bench tests of the API SA engine oils, which contain little or no additives and are still on the market, excellently low deposits were found, presumably because of low deposit initiation tendencies. Thus, engine oils that might readily oxidize and deposit on the engine, simulated as 7097 does, did well in the turbocharger simulating D6335 test. As shown in the following graph, it was no surprise to find that the 2 mechanisms of oxidation and deposit formation have low correlation. However, formulation of many engine oils satisfied both deposit formation requirements as indicated by the data enclosed within the dashed area. And there it is. What you see there then is 1,800 plus pieces of data comparing the 2 oxidation tests, the TiOS33C and the TiOS MHT for engine oils, showing essentially no correlation, 0.0003 R squared. And you can also see that within the dashed area, it's quite evident that probably about half of oils were over the years of collection, which range from 2001 to 2010, fell within the borders of that deposit. The foregoing comparison suggests that it's very important, if not in fact critical, to clearly understand why the properties required of an engine oil are important, why they're important, and how different components of formulation may succeed. Oncoming changes in engine oil composition with that addition of